Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It feels like it's been forever since I sat here and talked to you or even just filmed a video for YouTube at all. It's probably been like 3 weeks. Yeah, I think about 3 weeks since I last filmed. And I know that I've always like had little gaps here and there for like a week or two in posting content, but I feel like 3 weeks might be the longest I've gone without filming a YouTube video since I started YouTube like in 2019, I think. So yeah, it feels a bit weird to be sat here and talking to the camera, maybe for like a multitude of reasons, which we'll get into today. So I thought for today's video, we could have a bit of a catch up, a bit of a chatty get ready with me whilst I catch you up on what's been going on for the past few weeks. I'm probably not going to focus on like the products that I'm using. I will just post the details down in the comments because otherwise we're probably going to be here forever. This is me, let's be real. I do love a good chatty video. So yeah, we don't need to be talking about the products as well, otherwise we'll be here forever. Though I will just say, these two products I have been loving. My skin has been so dry since I was ill a couple of weeks ago, and these together, the Bioma Hydrating Milky Toner and the Photo Mucin Glow Serum, have been fixing my dry skin. So we're not talking about products, but I thought I would just mention them because they are both so good. So I wasn't necessarily planning to take a little bit of a YouTube break, but I have absolutely needed to. So I have very briefly mentioned, I don't know, in the middle of a video where it felt relevant, that I was diagnosed with ADHD about a year ago. And the reason that I had to take a little bit of time off is that after nearly a year of waiting, I have finally started taking medication for my ADHD, and it's been an interesting journey. It's been an interesting journey the past couple of weeks. So maybe I should just start at the beginning. And if this video is a bit more rambly than normal, or I seem a little bit off, or if I just seem a bit weird, it's because I am just really getting used to what it's like to take this medication, and it definitely has impacts on my communication. I'm not gonna lie, I feel really weird sat here filming, and I don't normally feel really weird filming. Normally this is quite a comfortable place for me, but right now I'm a bit it took me a long time to start filming today. I've been sat here with the camera recording for a good few minutes, just trying to get myself to speak. And it's not that this is difficult for me to talk about, because I'm really quite open about this, but just the talking to camera feels a little bit weird right now. So just bear with me if this video is even more rambly than I normally am. So let's take it back a bit. I first started thinking that I had ADHD in the second half of 2020. If you've been with me that long, first of all, please let me know in the comments so I can say a massive thank you, because this is going on 5 years ago. So if you've been with me that long, thank you. So yeah, I first started thinking and suspecting that I might have ADHD in 2020. So this was during lockdown, which was really difficult for everyone, but we found it particularly difficult because Adam has medical condition that means that he was super high risk. So we were really just advised to avoid going outside at all costs. And we were in an apartment on the second floor. We didn't have any outdoor space. So we were just trapped in our apartment for the good part of nearly 2 years, let's be honest. And I started to really struggle with my mental health. I did a video around the time talking about how I'd been really struggling with my mental health. This is all before I started thinking about ADHD. And I've always struggled with anxiety here and there and depression here and there. It's been something that I've always dealt with, but it was never to the point where I was medicated or diagnosed with anything, but it's just been an ongoing thread throughout my life. And I was really struggling. I wasn't doing very well at work. We were trapped in the apartment. YouTube was my salvation. It was my happy space, happy, it was the thing that was keeping me going at that time, to be honest. And I remember in that video saying something along the lines of I just can't focus. I just can't make myself do stuff that I need to do. Just starting to talk about some of the things that I struggle with ADHD without knowing it was ADHD at that point. I think it was maybe a month or two after that I really started to like think it was maybe ADHD. I think I saw a few videos on social media and I was like, some of this is like resonating. So yeah, I was really struggling at that point. What do I need now? I need some kind of primer. And yeah, started to learn more about ADHD and started to realize that, you know, some of that makes a lot of sense for like some of the experiences and troubles and problems that I was having. So I did some more digging, did some more learning, and eventually I was like, okay, need to do something about this. So I contacted my doctor, I think in 2020 or in 2021. I'm not exactly sure on the timeline. I was like, look, I think I have ADHD. What do we do about this? How do I go about getting tested? And I think what happened is they sent me like a little self-assessment form where if you score over a certain number, you're likely to have ADHD. So I filled in the little questionnaire and I got a score that was indeed high enough to indicate that I did have ADHD. So we moved on to the next step, which was like what needed to happen for me to go forward with a diagnosis. But to do a diagnosis with the NHS, and this was like 5 years ago, the form that I had to fill in was pretty like intense, really, really intense. It was a lot about like childhood memories and getting people who like knew you as a child and so on to make comment on what you were like as a child. Because with ADHD diagnosis, you have to really show that symptoms were present when you were a child, because I think the theory is that you can't develop ADHD as an adult. It happens when you're a child. So if you can't evidence that you had it as a child, it's quite difficult to get a diagnosis. And I was so overwhelmed by filling in this form, and I was struggling with my mental health and COVID and moving house and job changes and just so much happening at the same time that like I just left that form in a drawer for a couple of years, which really annoys me now because I could have, you know, got some help with this a long time ago. But anyway, it took me a long time to give this a go again, and was like up and down during that time, like good and bad times during that period. And then about 2 years ago, just over 2 years ago, I was like, we really, 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 really could do with sorting this out. So I went to my doctor again and was like, hey, it's me again. Sorry I didn't like do what I was meant to do, but you know, still think I've got ADHD and would like to do something about it. But this time we decided to pursue the right to choose route for my diagnosis. So over the years, as more and more people are becoming aware of ADHD, I think there's been a big uprising in people like sharing their experience of ADHD on social media, and it's helping particularly women who have gone like their ADHD has gone unnoticed whilst they were a kid or into adulthood. It's just helping people to recognize the symptoms of ADHD and think, oh, maybe like that's what I have, or maybe that's what I've been experiencing. So there's been a big increase in people pursuing ADHD diagnoses. And in the UK, we have an option called Right to Choose. I don't think it exists predominantly for like, I know they do ADHD and autism diagnosis. Like you can get an ADHD or an autism diagnosis through the Right to Choose option, but I think that it applies to lots of stuff that the NHS does. I can't remember, but anyway, we decided to go down the Right to Choose option because it was a lot quicker for me to get a diagnosis. Basically, it's where the NHS fund private providers to provide the service that they don't have the capacity to deliver. So we went through Right to Choose. I feel like this is like the longest story, but it's all backstory, so hopefully it's all relevant. And like I said, I've never really like sat down and talked about this. So anywho, that was about 2 years ago, just over 2 years ago, that we selected my Right to Choose provider, because you do get a choice. And there's lots of things to consider, like waiting times, whether they do like provide medication or not. There's a lot of stuff. And if you ever want me to do like a more in-depth video, I mean, that's really specific, but maybe I could do something, or I can answer your questions in the comments if you've got questions about the like UK Right to Choose. Well, I think it's an England thing. Anyway, if you've got specific questions, let me know in the comments, because it might not be relevant to everyone. But we picked my provider. The doctor referred me and I got put on the waiting list for a diagnosis. I think the whole process from us contacting the provider to me actually getting my diagnosis was about 1 year and 3 months. And to my absolute delight, during that time, I had to fill in the forms that I would have had to have filled in like 5 years ago now. So I didn't get away from filling them in. I just postponed it, which is, you know, just great. And I found them incredibly hard to fill in, but I did it. Anyway, about just under 1 year ago, I had my assessment for ADHD. And I got on the call with the psychiatrist, the person who was diagnosing me. And I was real nervous. I was really nervous because by this point, I'd thought I had ADHD for like 4 years. And I was like, what happens? What happens if I get on this call and this doctor is like, no, you don't have ADHD. I don't know what's going on with you, but it's not ADHD. But within 5 minutes of this hour phone call, the man who was assessing me said, right, you can relax. You have ADHD. It is blatantly obvious you have ADHD. So just relax, but we need to go through the rest of this assessment. We need to go through the rest of the process, but you've got ADHD. I can see it from your forms. I can see it from what you've told me in 5 minutes. You've got ADHD. So I was like, okay, cool. I've got it. It's so obvious that, like, you know, within 5 minutes, good thing or bad thing. I don't know. What am I looking for? I am looking for my concealer. You just got to bear with me. So yeah, I had my assessment and I have combined ADHD, which means I have both the hyperactivity and the attentiveness issues. You can be one or the other, or you can be combined. I am combined. So maybe I should talk to you about like some of the ways that ADHD impacts me before we start talking about the like medication journey. Because this is a question I've been asked a lot, like since I've been starting to share about my diagnosis. People have been like, well, how does ADHD affect you? What is it that made you realize? And I actually just found before my assessment, because sometimes when I'm on the spot, my brain goes blank and I forget things. Before my assessment, I was so worried that that was going to happen that I wrote down to read to the assessor all of the ways, well, most of the ways that ADHD impacts me. Now, ADHD impacts people differently, particularly between like males and females. I think the reason that a lot of women or girls haven't been diagnosed with ADHD historically is that ADHD is seen as quite like an external presenting thing when it comes to like the hyperactivity. So think about like boys in classrooms being really hyperactive and like bouncing off the walls, that sort of thing. Whereas in girls and women, a lot of that hyperactivity happens internally. So a lot of girls and women are misdiagnosed with anxiety, depression, other mental health conditions, when really what it is like ADHD going tick, 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 tick in the brain. So yeah, I managed to find these in my drawer and I thought I'd just share some of these because hopefully then that'll help you to like understand a little bit of how some of the things that I experienced with ADHD. I haven't looked at these since doing my assessment. So yeah, so where do I even start? Okay, let's just start from here. And I'm not saying this is what everyone experiences, but this is just some of the things that I do. Yeah, let me just restart the camera. I've been recording like for 20 minutes already. I told you this was not going to be a polished video, guys. I don't think that's the point of this video. Part of it is to share this update with you, and part of it is just to get me filming again, because I've got so many fun videos I want to film. Anywho, these are in no particular order, but I'm just going to read off some of this list. So impulse control. Can be something that I really struggle with my ADHD, and there's links between that difficulty with ADHD and food and like binge eating, under eating, overeating. There's a lot of links that I'm learning about between ADHD and sort of struggles with food, which has been quite interesting. But impulse control, struggling to do things without deadlines, spacing out a little bit, like in conversations, just like going to a different world. Can't just do one thing. So like if I'm watching TV, I'm on my phone. I find it quite hard to make decisions. It's really hard to stay on task. I do need like reward-based systems to motivate me. I need a lot of reassurance. I can can sometimes struggle with sensory overload. If one thing goes wrong, it's all wrong and makes it too hard. I wrote, if the novelty of things wears out, it can be quite difficult to continue. So like, I don't know, like I can spend months researching this new, like it happened with my GoPro. I spent so long researching the GoPro that I wanted. I finally bought it and I wasn't interested. So that's not great. I can sometimes struggle with having like too much like energy and motivation. Like when I wake up on a day and I've got a million things that I want to do, that's a red light for me, red flag for me, because I know that what's about to happen is I'm going to think for half an hour about all these things that I want to do, and then I'm going to crash and I'm going to do nothing. Things are very last minute. I get burnt out really easily. We've talked about this quite a lot. Over the years, I struggle with burnout quite a lot. I can get irritated easily. I struggle to let things go. I sound like a wonderful person to have in your life. I promise I'm not all that bad. This is just all the stuff I struggle with in one piece of paper. I feel emotions for like a long time. Like I can find it really hard if something's like, if someone's upset me, even when like in my head, I'm not bothered anymore because I've said sorry and I'm over it. Like it can take a bit of time for like my emotions to catch up with like, not my logic, but I don't know if that makes sense. I fidget a lot. I'm always playing with something. If something's out of sight, it's out of mind. This is something that you can struggle with a lot with ADHD. It's called like object permanence, I think. I am still learning, guys. So if I get any of this wrong, please forgive me. This is not like a masterclass in ADHD. This is just like some of the stuff I've experienced. But yeah, it can happen with stuff. So like if I put something in a cupboard, I can forget about it until I find it again. But the worst part of it is it can sometimes happen with people. And it's not that I don't love my friends or my family, but when they're not around me, it can be really hard for me to remember to keep in touch. I hate it. I hate it. It makes me feel like the worst person on the planet. Responding to texts, so difficult. If I don't do it there and then, it's just not going to happen. And then I remember that I needed to do it. And then I feel guilty that I didn't do it. So I keep putting it off, but then I feel guilty and it's just a horrible cycle. And so that one's really fun. Disorganized, a little bit messy and chaotic. Patience doesn't exist. Well, no, I can be patient. I struggle with like if I know something's coming that I really want to come, but I don't know how long the wait is going to be, I find that really, really difficult. I need to have an idea of what the wait is. Otherwise, like if it's something like starting my medication, which could happen in 7 to 10 months, that's agony because is it 7? Is it 10? When's it going to happen? I need quite set like waiting times, which is just not how the world works. Yeah, I struggle to do boring stuff. Sometimes I just freeze, particularly with decision making. I'm just like, I can't. Taking in and following instructions, and also talking over people, which is really great because in work, like I'm a consultant, so it's really important for me to just like sit and listen to my colleagues and my clients. But yeah, sometimes that's really difficult. So that's a whirlwind tour into my brain. I feel like I'm sharing a lot here with you guys, but I want to, so it's all good. So yeah, I got my diagnosis and then I got to the end of the assessment and the doctor, psychologist, assessor was like, what do you want to do about this? Do you want to maybe try medication? What do you think? And I was like, well, at the start of this journey, I didn't think I wanted to try medication, but like, yeah, medicate me, please. And he was like, good. Probably shouldn't say this to you, but I think that you need to, because what you've talked to me about, the only thing that's going to help you is medication, along with a load of other like techniques and therapies and so on. But like medication is probably a really good idea for you. So I was like, okay, great, sign me up. And then that's when they were like 7 to 10 months waiting list, which really, really sucked, to be completely honest with you, because imagine someone telling you there's this thing that you've struggled with your entire life and you now know what it is, and you now know that there's something that hopefully is going to help you, because medication doesn't work for everyone. There's this thing that's hopefully going to help you, but you can't have it yet. You have to wait again. That was a pretty hard thing to take, and I'm not going to lie, that wait has sucked. It's been really quite difficult. So fast forward to like now, I finally started my medication 2 weeks ago. And the week in the run up to that, I wasn't filming because I just needed to get myself prepared and ready. Like, I'm not allowed caffeine at the moment. So I didn't realize I was drinking like 6 cups of coffee a day to like cope. So I had to really, really quickly in the space of a few days go from like 6 cups of coffee to no coffee. I just needed like a little bit of time to get myself prepared and ready for this experience. And then yeah, it's been 2 weeks of me starting the medication. And like I said at the start, it really, really has been an interesting ride. So the process you go through with ADHD medication is called titration. And every provider does it differently, but the provider that I am with, it's a 12-week process. And you go through this 12 weeks to figure out the right medication for you, the right dosage for you, because different medications work for different people need different dosages. So it's really quite an intense process of playing with your medication, playing with your dose, really taking note of how you're feeling and how things are impacting you, reporting back, making changes. It's a whole thing. So I've just finished my 2nd week. So I've been on 2 different doses so far. I go up again tomorrow. The first few days were really interesting. And I'm going to be honest, like pretty horrible. Not the first day. The first day was not bad. And maybe that had something to do with the fact that it was a Sunday and I wasn't working. But yeah, I took my medication in the morning, and whilst you're getting used to this new kind of medication, your body can have quite intense reactions. So I had read that like as it first starts to hit you, you can have like quite a euphoric like response, which I absolutely did. I took it, and then we took Summer for a walk to the park. And when we got back to the park, like an hour and a half or so after I'd taken it, I feel so silly like admitting this, but anyway, we were in the garden, and one of the flowers that we planted recently was sprouting a new bud. Tell me why I saw this flower. Tears, literal tears, crying, tears of joy, absolute joy. So yeah, that was interesting. But throughout the day, like it was okay. Like that morning I was like boom, on top of stuff, getting stuff done, busy. We had people over. Yeah, I was doing okay, and then crashed a bit in the afternoon. I think had a little bit of anxiety in the evening, but like it wasn't bad. I was like, do you know what? This is great. This is fine. And then the next day, not so fine. I went to work and like just was so spacey, couldn't communicate, so much anxiety, so much paranoia that every single person I was talking to, I was annoying. Like it was those couple of days, the first couple of days at work were really horrible, to the point where I was like, well, if this is what it's like, I'm not doing this. It's not worth it. This is horrible. Like I was sat in one meeting, and I literally felt like I was like from another planet, and I was sat there trying to act like a human. Like I was so conscious of every movement I made and every word I said. I was just like, don't let on that you feel like you're in another world right now because you're so spacey. Like concentrate on what the person's saying, but don't show it on your face. Like this is how you talk. Like it was just the weirdest and like most horrible experience, to be honest. But luckily it settled down. Throughout the week, it got to a point where it felt much better. Like the anxiety and like paranoia reduced drastically. Communication became a lot easier, though it's not perfect. I am still, as you can probably tell, struggling just a little bit, but I was getting through the day and it was fine. So that was all good. And then I got to the weekend and it was time to up my dose for the first time. And I was like a little bit nervous about what that would mean, whether I was going to go through all that again. And then, yeah, so I upped my dose and I had 1 day of that. 1 day of feeling like I was really struggling with communicating and anxiety and that sort of thing. But this time it passed after just 1 day instead of 3 days. So I was talking to my prescriber about this, and we think it just takes my body just like a little bit of time to get used to the dose. Like these are quite powerful medications. I think I am taking Elvance in case anyone is interested. But yeah, I had 1 day where it was a little bit rough. What am I looking for? Eyeliner? Is that a good idea? Dunno. Maybe we'll just do a bit of eyeshadow. I am meant to go and film a clothing haul after this, but we'll see. I don't know. Yeah, let me just do some eyeshadow for funsies. Does anyone even say funsies? That's ridiculous. Oh, I've not used this in forever. I used to love this Sigma eyeshadow. So yeah, it wasn't too bad. And I have had like the busiest week. I was in London for 2 days with work. I had really important workshops with clients. Like, it's been a really intense week, but I haven't struggled anywhere near as much with, where's my mirror? The like anxiety side of things, which is great. I think I've felt positive benefits. I think I've felt that it has helped with my focus here and there, but it's a little bit difficult to say at the moment because I thrive in busy, high pressurized situations. And that's how it's been at work over the past 2 weeks. I've had so many deadlines and things that I've had no choice but just to get done. And that's when I like, you know what I'm saying with deadlines, like deadlines really help me, like high pressurized situations. I operate really well in them. Like, ask me a really easy decision. Can't do it. Get me in, like, involved. If there's a crisis going on, I am your girl. Like, I can handle the most difficult, high pressured situations, but choosing between like 2 sandwiches in a shop, can't do. So yeah, it's a bit tricky to tell how much I think it's been helping me because like I was saying, this is the point in time at work where I would normally be doing okay, but I do think that it is helping. But it's a process, it's a journey. Tomorrow my dosage goes up again, and then the week after it goes up one more time, and then I'm on the highest dose, and either I'll stay there or they'll bring me back down, or we'll try a different medication. We'll just have to see. But yeah, it just has meant, especially with all the like anxiety and like struggles with like my communication that I've been having, I just needed to take a little bit of time off filming over the past couple of weeks, and now here we are today. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to promise that I'm going to be like filming a video like on a regular schedule at the moment because like I don't know what's going to happen when my dose goes up tomorrow. I'm going to want to film another video this afternoon, but we'll see because I'm already feeling like tired, and I'm trying to like give myself grace and just take this process like as easy as possible, so that I don't like crash out and burn, because it is like you get to the evening and I'm like, not major crashes, which I know some people struggle with, but I am like, I'm done for the day. So yeah, I just thought that I wanted to just come and give you a little bit of a life update, let you know what's going on, give you a bit of insight as to why I've been a bit quiet and why like over the next few weeks I may be a bit here and there, because like I said, I am only 2 weeks into this like 12-week journey, and it's an intense process. Like, there may come a point where my medication becomes too much and we have to step it back, and at that point I'm probably not going to want to be filming, so I'm going to be a bit here and there. But I love filming, so I'm really glad that I got to sit down and do this today. I've been wanting to do it like, well, I've been wanting to film all week, but it's just not been possible for me. So I'm just, yeah, I've had the best time sitting, playing with makeup and catching you up. But yeah, if I suddenly go a little bit quiet again, it's probably because of this. Who knows? I might just wake up and be like, I'm going to film all the time. I don't know. Or if you're watching a video and you're like, you seem a little bit strange. Are you okay? At least now you know what is going on. And yeah, like I should really focus on doing my mascara, but hey, if you have any questions or anything more you want to know, pop it down in the chat, and maybe I'll do like a Q&A or an update video in a couple of weeks once like things have settled or changes have happened. Like, let me know if you just want to know more, or if you have any questions, anything like that. Just let me know in the comments. I'm probably going to be editing this video back and be like, I had a million more things that I wanted to say that I didn't say. But I can imagine this video is going to be long enough as it is, because I think I've been filming for like 45 minutes. But anyway, that is me done and ready. My hair turned out like Hermione early Harry Potter vibes with how frizzy my hair has turned out. So I probably need to do something about that. But yeah, I am going to bring this video to a close because I've been talking for a million years. Thank you so much for like, if you got to this point, sticking with me throughout this really chaotic, rambly video. And just thank you so much in general. Like, I've really appreciated all of the support and love over, like, I've been doing YouTube for like 6 years now. But particularly when I've shared about like times that I've been struggling or big life changes, you guys have always been there for me and so kind and so supportive, and that means the absolute world. So yeah, I just want to say that's super cringy. I just want to say thank you, and I really appreciate it, and I hope you're all doing so well, and I will be back with some kind of normal video. Hopefully a clothing haul, if I can get myself together and go and actually film one this afternoon. If not, maybe tomorrow, we'll see. But there will be more videos coming at some point. I'm not committing to anything. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Bye.